All right, we are live. Let's just load this up. Cool. All right, I see ya.
Hey, what's up?
What's up? How you doing, brother?
Good, man. I'm just trying to stay warm out here, bro. It's like the most consecutive days of below zero weather and hours of below zero in Minnesota in like recorded history. It's been like 20 below every day here.
That's insane. So you're in Minnesota right now. I did not know that. For some reason, I thought you're in bloody LA. I seen the sun coming through the blinds. I was like, oh, that bastard, he's down in LA, just chilling. We're up here in the snow. And then you're like, nah, I'm actually in Minnesota. It's like the coldest place on earth or something right now.
Yeah, no, it's nice because the sun is out. Like I still go outside and get walks in and get out because, man, you got to get outside. But yeah, it's been bleak, man. You take your glove off for like more than a minute and it's just pain. That's it. It's just pain. Like I would welcome snow because it actually means that it's warmer. Like it's much warmer. I see y'all been getting some snow up there in Pacific Northwest. It seems like everywhere is getting snow now.
Well, I mean, even Texas. I was my friend down in Texas has been complaining to me all morning, sending me text messages saying, "Oh, we got snow, blah blah blah, got no power." I was like, "Damn, that sucks."
Yeah,
but,
it's actually bleak out there. The power's out, and like some people aren't getting water and stuff. So that's like,
that's not good.
Yeah, it's not a good look when you're not prepared for it. Like that's a good thing about Minnesota is it's like we know it's gonna snow, so they get out there with the plows and the salt and all that good stuff. But
honestly, that's the thing. You guys, like, as cold as and like miserable as that like super low temperature is, at least like they build the houses and like everyone knows, like, you know, shit's gonna get really fucking.
Yeah,
you know, people were just like we haven't been able to get anything delivered. We couldn't leave our driveway, you know, the past few days. It wasn't the snow that was the problem, it was the bloody ice storm. You know, they like the snow comes and then it has this ice rain and it like adds a layer of ice to the snow. And you
can't shovel that shit, and it's like,
I don't know how you guys cope though for that long, because I remember, like, you know, I used to play shows in Minneapolis, like, you know, twice a year, and I'd go play out there, big up, you know, Twin Cities dubstep, Alex Toffler, all the Infrasound crew and all that. But you know, we'd play up there with those guys, and you know, I'd go like, you know, maybe November or something, and it'd be snow covered, and then I'd go back and like visit y'all like I don't know, March or something, and it's still snow. I was like, what the like, how is this possible? How do you guys survive for so long? It's like a frozen tundra up there.
It's just humans, man. You got to adapt to your surroundings. Like you embrace, when you embrace something, it's easier to deal with it, you know, because you got like, first you accept it. Okay, this is going to be a way of life. And then you find ways to make it a good way of life. Whereas when you don't like accept stuff and you like are fighting against it so much, then it just becomes way more work, like kind of like what's going on in the world right now.
I feel that, bro. Okay, we've got a few people joining us, so how you doing, everyone? Welcome to the show, episode 6, Dres, Daze. We've got Finnoh in the house.
What up?
Formerly known as Ill Chill. When did you change your alias, by the way? Like, how long have you been doing that for?
Yo, it's crazy. 2020, like I had made the decision the beginning of the year. I didn't know it was just going to be a transformative year like it has been, but yeah, I just felt like a transitioning into something new, just bringing a kind of a refresh to everything that I was doing, and also just putting a more personal level like into my music, kind of adding more of my personal life, and yeah, just expanding it, expanding the sounds, expanding the, you know, the ideas, and just really taking the idea of no limits and creativity to like a different place. So I think by bringing a new alias in and kind of tying it to myself, like it's just kind of a commitment to creating, and also a way to, yeah, just kind of reinvigorate myself creatively, and kind of like clean the slate almost in some ways, you know. So
well, I love it, man. I mean that is your actual name, right? Finnoh is the name,
yeah,
like you're given when you
my family name. Yeah. Yep. Shout out Sierra Leone.
There you go. So it's not like it's just some like you know, made up alias or anything. That's, you're actually like putting your real name to the music, attaching that. So that's quite you know, that's a big deal, I reckon, when you want to, because you're putting everything out there. If you're putting you're not hiding behind anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
I'm hoping I don't get doxxed, you know. So I'm just out here like just trying to live, you know.
I feel that. Nah, I'm sure you're gonna be all right, bro. So anyway, for those who don't know, like, we've known each other. How did we meet? Just trying to think, like, when was the first time we probably met?
I feel like we met in LA, but from what I remember, it was actually Rich Deafblind who put us in contact.
Big up Rich.
I don't know if it was through you or through Tristan, but yeah, big up to Rich, man. Big supporter for a long time, and has, you know, helped a lot, just growing everything I've been doing creatively. But through him, it must have been back when I was living in LA. So it would have been early LA too, like because I moved to LA in 2009. It's funny, I lived in Seattle right before I moved to LA, so kind of, you know, not far from where you're at. And
yeah, totally. And
just I think it must have been 2010. 2010.
Yeah, I think
around that time, 2011.
That you moved to LA, or
when we connected? I moved to LA in late 2009, so it was like not far after that, maybe a year after I had been in LA. Just like, I just moved to LA. I only knew one person out there, so it just kind of on a whim, like, you know, I wanted to explore and get see what Cali was about. You know, I grew up out here in the Midwest, Wisconsin, Milwaukee to be exact. So
you're a Milwaukee boy.
Yeah, that's where I grew up, born and raised. And then after high school, I just kind of, you know, moved around, you know, going to school. And so I lived on the East Coast. And then after that, went to the West Coast, and just trying to figure out, you know, what I wanted out of life. Like, that's kind of been the journey. And yeah, that led me to LA. Like, you know, wanted to be somewhere warm because I need the sun. I got the studio in the room that gets the sun in the afternoon now, so I get sun.
I see that. That looks nice, man. I can see that coming through the blinds right now. Envious.
Yeah, it's nice.
So we meet up, like, I reckon it must have been because you recorded Undeniable before I met you, right?
Well, we did Broken before that.
Yes, true.
From the Hollow World joint. I think that was the first one.
That was the first. That was before Undeniable. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Shit.
So
was too. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's DDD1, bro.
Yeah. Undeniable was DDD1. So
yeah, man.
That's what I was gonna say. For those who aren't familiar with the Ill Chill name and all that, he's actually the original first guy we actually put out a tune with on the label on Deep, Dark and Dangerous. So that's kind of that's pretty sick, dude. And then Monumental as well, which was
so crazy.
You know, the Next Truth EP out on the label. You know, it's another one you're involved on with you know, with the Monumental tune. So
yeah, bro, it's been broken, man. That tune. It's been inspiring watching like how DDD has grown, man. Like over the years, like it's really super inspiring. That's all I can say, man. It's just like, it's so cool to see, you know, how the community's grown and all the different artists and all the releases. Just it's been awesome to watch.
I appreciate that, man. But you know, we can't do it without guys like you, and you know, like working with the artists. It's all about the team that's put it together, and you know. Some of those tunes we did together back in those days are actually like, they are monumental tunes, you know, like they're tunes that over and over again people, you know, on our, as far as like plays go on our Spotify, and as far as you know, people linking us back, we always get in videos of these pole dancer chicks, like,
bro, I was just about to say, like,
you know, that Broken tune.
I don't know how Broken became the pole dance anthem, but
it's like the pole dancing anthem. I swear, if you like all these pole dancing chicks, and like, you know, respect to the pole dancers, it's a great,
it's a beautiful art form, man.
It's a beautiful art and all that. But we just keep getting tagged in videos all around the world where these you know, pole dancing girls, I guess, women, ladies, and they're doing a great job, but they're dancing to that same tune over and over again. I don't know how many have linked us over the years with that Broken tune. They love it, man. So I'm glad you noticed that too, because I thought that was hella funny. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, when I wrote the lyrics to that, I just, that's not what I first saw, but you know, it connects, it resonates, and the rhythms and all of it, just like the juxtaposition of everything, like the way it blends, all of that. Yeah, man, people, and it's timeless music, honestly, in my opinion. Like, that was kind of the goal behind it, is like the timelessness of it. So,
well, look, dude, I you know, I still play those tunes all the time. They're some of my favorite tunes that we've released over the years, and you know, the lyrics, like, and undeniable. You know, we did that remix competition a few years ago, and like, man, the amount of like dope remixes that came through, like chopping up your lyrics, and like people are still playing the remixes like years later. So that just shows, you know, those tunes, man, they've stood the test of time.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. And I'm just really grateful for, you know, the opportunities to do that, and just how that linked up, because that's, you know, that, you know, definitely helped me as far as just building what I'm doing and building my creativity, and giving me confidence to do more stuff. And so, yeah, man, super grateful for that.
Oh yeah, no, we're grateful for you, man. Like, and those lyrics, like, always, like, I love just like listening to the, like, those songs, just because the lyrics like do like take you on a journey, man. And so there's definitely some like really deep, clever lyrics that you put together in there that I was just like, that even when I, you know, no matter how many times I listen to them, I'm like, man, he crushed that. He really crushed that. So
thanks.
You know, it's dope, man. But hey, tell us what's been going on in the last couple of years. I mean, obviously this year's been a bit crazy with the pandemic and all that. But what have you been up to release wise in the studio? Like, have you been working on any particular projects?
So I just dropped this album the end of 2020 called Focus, and that was kind of like what I was working on all of 2020, just trying to kind of pull the pieces of everything that I was doing with the Ill Chill project, and with the producers that I have been working with over the years, like DMVU and K-Lone and Subtle Mind, and a lot of the cats are on there. Kercha, who also has another alias. I think it's Pluffrey is what it is. And then
what's his alias?
It's Pluffrey, Plffry.
Okay.
You gotta ask him about what that, I don't know. I'm not quite sure, but All I know is the beats are fire. That's all I know. But yeah, so just kind of pulling and you know everyone else who's on that project, just kind of pulling those pieces together and trying to put something cohesive to kind of take a step forward for you know what I'm doing with the Finnoh project. And yeah, so I spent most of 2020 working on that, and then Super Task is on there too. But yeah, like a lot of producers. So and then just kind of started doing some live streams as well. Like you know, once we had the kind of lockdown thing, I had already wanted to do something from home. So I think maybe in February, I had copped the green screen and the camera and stuff and was getting ready to do that and stuff. But then when the lockdown came, you know, I just kind of accelerated the plan and just started doing kind of a Sunday session that I call Finnoh's World, where I basically am just playing a lot of stuff that inspires me and also mixing it in with, you know, some of the stuff I'm working on and some of the stuff that I'm just listening to and that has inspired me over the years. So I've been doing like 2 hours of that pretty much every Sunday, or that I can. You know, sometimes you just kind of get you know you need a break and stuff. But yeah, I've been trying to do that just to kind of connect and connect with people and create just positive energy, you know, for people on a weekly basis, something that they can, you know, look forward to, and something that I can look forward to, because with this whole pandemic, man, it's been a lot of stress and a lot of stress, like just a lot on people's mental health and you know, uncertainty, which is a big part of life. But you know, it's just it's nice to have certain things to look forward to in life, and yeah, doing that every week has been something I really look forward to. So
hell yeah, man. And people appreciate it, you know, people tune in, and you know, there's a lot of lonely people out there. There's a lot of people that have been isolated and they can't see anyone, you know, they can't see their friends or families. So like, you know, being able to do this this kind of thing, it's the same with it's a huge part of the reason we did quarantine sessions, you know, as you're well aware, you know, you're part of it. And you know, people are constantly sending us messages saying, you know, how much it means to them. And you know, even for us as artists, it means a lot, because we actually for a split second get to feel like we're actually like back doing something live. If we feel like we're connected to people, and then we can like turn it all off and walk back in our living room and be like, oh, you know what I mean? But at least like we've got like that little moment to like connect with people and do our thing. So it's good for everyone. And that's really cool that you've been doing those, man. I've been tuning into a few of them. They're really good. And I know your green screen is really fucking dope, the way you do the graphics and all that. And thanks, it's trippy, man.
I've been definitely trying to grow it a little bit and you know, see what I can do with it, and also just kind of like build energy into, because live performances will come back at some point. So you know, like kind of experiment with some things that I want to do with the live show, you know, coming out of the quarantine, and just a way to try different things, you know, just experiment. And because now is definitely a time for experimentation and trying things and seeing, you know, things that you like. And
I mean, look, we've all been forced to take a little break from our usual kind of activities. Well, most of us. There's a lot of people still working through that shit, and respect to them, you know. People getting shit from A to B, you know, so us fucks at home can like eat our food and all that, you know. So like I've been
on my chef game, man. I'm becoming a chef now. Like,
oh dude, like so you're getting into the cooking, are you?
Oh dude, heavy. I'm making like monthly menus now. Like I'm basically like, you know, deciding everything I'm gonna cook for the month, different stuff I want to try, and just putting that together just to kind of make it more fun than just like, oh, what am I gonna eat tonight? When am I gonna eat tonight? Whereas like I kind of plan ahead, like, okay, you know, I've never cooked this. Let me try this on this night, and let me do something easy on this night because I know I'm gonna be tired, and this kind of thing, and then
That's
this kind of
great.
takes the pressure off, like thinking about what I'm gonna eat tonight, whatever. Like, you know, so it's kind of cool and kind of makes it more of an experience because I'm eating less meals too. Like, not now that I've been getting out more though this new year because I started taking greenhouse classes. I'm learning I'm learning how to grow stuff in the greenhouse.
Oh, sick.
So
like indoor, yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, because in Minnesota you can't grow stuff outdoors year round. Mm-hmm. So you know, like you can have a garden in the summer, but when it becomes fall and winter, there's less things that you can grow. So if you can grow stuff in a greenhouse, then you can kind of extend the season. And one thing that's come out of the pandemic that's always been like a part of just my mindset, but has been just even heightened, is just learning more skills of self-sufficiency and being able to provide, you know, things for myself that, you know, the earth provides for you. Like, if you think about how much, I mean, you can get from $1 worth of seeds, you can get $25 worth of produce. So if you're looking for a return on investment, like, that's a pretty good one. It's a pretty good return.
And like, look, man, isn't it rewarding, like growing your own, you know, vegetables and food, and, you know, you plant it, and then when you finally like pick it and eat it, you're like, damn, I grew this myself. You know, you know exactly what's gone into it. It's a rewarding feeling. And same, you know, it's the same as cooking a nice meal for yourself. You finally sit down and you eat, and you're like, damn, this is actually fucking dank. And you know, I feel you on the cooking thing. I'm a huge fan of cooking, and you know, like when I'm in the mood to cook, I really like love to get into it, and I love to buy all the different
man. I remember eating some lamb at your spot in LA.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Man, that's some of the best that I've ever had. Like no lie, that was some of the best lamb I ever had, dude. It's so good.
Look. That's good. I'm glad you got to try my New Zealand lamb, huh?
Yeah, man, that was good.
We've been going pretty crazy, like at the house, just because we haven't been going out or eating it at all, you know, like most people. So, we've been really going in, man, like just like trying to create these like mad feasts and like, you know, just to have, like, I've been waking up at like, you know, 8 a.m, throwing in a roast in the oven, you know, like a pork roast or a you know, a beef roast or whatever.
Doing the all day base.
Doing the like 6-7 hours, man, at like 275 degrees, just slowly letting everything break down in it. Yeah. And then you do the quick hot roasting at the end, get it all super crispy, and I just like, oh my God. I finally figured out how to get that, like, you know, that barbecue style, you know, melt apart meat. And now that I've figured that out, I'm pretty chuffed with myself. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, that's nice.
Self-sufficient. We don't need to, you know, because you can get like some really cheap cuts of, like, the cheaper the cut of meat, you know, sorry, apologies to all the vegetarians, by the way, like, I'm just saying, like, you know, cheap cuts of meat often, like, you know, if you cook them properly, are the best ones, you know.
Yeah, no, you can definitely get, especially if you season it right and do it over time. I've been personally, I have been going more like on the plant-based diet, but I'm not totally vegetarian. Like, I will still get a burger here and there and this and that, but it's more like I just think I've been, you know, with things that are going on with climate change personally, and just for my own health, like I feel like I feel better when I eat a little bit less meat overall. Like, I just feel lighter. I feel like a little bit more clear-headed and stuff. So it's not like, you know, there's a lot of different reasons for people to do it, but I've been enjoying it. It hasn't been too bad, and I've been on my impossible meats too. So, you know, I still get a little bit of that, even though, it's not the same.
Yeah. See, like, I went through a big phase, like when I was living in LA, you know, eating the Impossible burgers and the Beyond Meat burgers. I was like, these are awesome. Then I read a whole bunch of stuff about how, like, how much it takes to make like one patty, like how much like of a process and a carbon trail, like just to make that one patty, and also that they're full of oils and all this soy stuff.
They're not healthier necessarily.
No.
It's just, I think what it is it's getting people like used to the idea of eating less meat. So it's kind of like almost like like a nicotine patch or something for meat, like on some level that's like competitive. But yeah, I don't know. Because I was just reading the same thing about how it's, you know, it's not, even some of the Impossible burgers, it's like, especially if you get it at fast food, it's like it might even have a little bit more saturated fat than regular meat and stuff. So yeah, I tried.
The thing is, I went on this kind of, I wasn't full blown vegan, and I don't like even like using that word, but I was like, you know, I went on like this like plant based, like I was really enjoying like being like a plant based kind of diet, and I did it for like 6 months, kind of when I was in LA, because I was just getting grossed out. I just kept getting like gross meat, like everywhere I go. I was like I just didn't like the meat, like. You know, you get like a delivery and like the meat would gross me out. I was just like, I don't like meat, man. And also what you were saying about the environment and the impact just the whole production process has on everything, you know, that was really putting me off. And I thought, fuck it, I'm going to give it a shot. I'll do some plant-based diet. You know, there's some good restaurants around, you know, I can cook. Like I eat a lot of vegetables already, and I eat salad every night and all that jazz. But so for me, I was like, oh yeah, it won't be a problem. I did find though, after a few months, like I definitely like was feeling like kind of like weak at points. And then when I finally did eat some good meat, I felt like I had eaten, like honestly, like I felt like you'd given me like some like magic potion or something, man. I ate like a little bit of like nice steak after not eating any for a long time, and I was just like, whoa, like fucking like power, man. I felt not just like energy, but like happy and shit. I was like, whoa, my body liked that. And then I just like had a little bit after that, and I was like, my body likes meat. It just likes it.
Yeah. You know? Also, your body likes protein too. So you gotta like, when you do plant-based, you gotta try extra hard to get protein in the vegetables.
Yeah.
Like, I got an air fryer, which has also been just like a crazy good investment. And so what I'll do is I'll like season up some tofu and throw it in the air fryer and get like these crispy tofu cubes and throw those in with stuff.
I love that.
That's pretty good. That's like, you know, you season it the right way and stuff. And yeah, that's pretty fire. So yeah. And then
what else are you throwing in the air fryer?
I haven't been doing French fries out, man. I do my own wedges. But
what else have you been throwing in the air fryer? Like what are your favorite things to put in it?
Mozzarella sticks. Salmon does well in there, but yeah, it's funny. I was doing fish in there, but then like I realized just doing the pan fried is just way better. Like you just get a nice crispier finish on it with the fish. And so yeah, I mean I mainly do potatoes and tofu in there, and then I heat stuff up in there. You know, I don't go crazy with it. I use the oven and stove a lot more just in general, but it's nice for wedges, you know, potato wedges. And
nice.
I don't know what, somebody gave me like a donut recipe that I was gonna try with like biscuit mix. So you like put you shape the biscuit mix into donut shaped holes, and then you put it in the air fryer, and then you glaze it and stuff. But I don't know, I've just been too lazy to try that one.
Yeah.
I'd rather just go to the bakery and grab a donut. Like,
yeah,
it's a little too much for me. But
yeah, there are certain things you should leave to the professionals.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like
exactly.
I don't know. If you've got good food in your area, like.
Yeah, I don't, man. I live in the middle of nowhere, so like the best restaurant nearby is a Mexican place, and then the second best restaurant is like a fish place that's like 50 minutes away, almost an hour away.
It's far.
So yeah, that's why
you got to learn to cook, man.
Yeah,
like, there's no,
yeah.
Well, that's
man.
good.
I've learned to make some stuff in the oven. I made lobster tails last month. That was one of my crowning achievements. And I've been going, you know what? You know what's even better than the air fryer though is the Instant Pot. And I made a cheesecake. Yeah. I made a cheesecake in the Instant Pot.
What?
Yeah, I made a few of them, man. I've been making cheesecakes like nobody's business.
I love cheesecake.
But, dude, man, I'm telling you, all you need is some
eggs. I'll eat the whole thing.
Oh man, it's fire. It's so fire. And you mix up the batter, you throw it in there, and it's done in about 40 minutes, and throw it in the.
Wow. I didn't know you could do that with an Instapot.
Yeah, man. It's nice.
Crazy.
It's nice. Been on that cheese.
Well, man, we're gonna have to have a big cook up together next time we link up, man. We have to have a big cook off, eh? Cook some different dishes.
I'm gonna need to find out where you're at up there in Washington, because I'm actually coming up there next month. So maybe we could.
You're kidding me?
Yeah, I'm coming out there to work on a little secret project. I can't really talk about it yet, but yeah. So we should link up.
Cool.
But yeah,
I'm down here in the south of Washington, in the very bottom of Washington State. So I'm basically in Portland, like Portland City. Oh, but I'm in Oregon's like a 20-minute drive from me.
That's perfect. That's perfect, bro. Yeah, we definitely have to link, because yeah, I'm coming out there in March. So yeah, let's make that happen.
Good shit.
That's gonna be the one of the next releases coming out this year. So I'm excited about that. Got something bubbling.
Ooh. Nice.
Yeah.
So let's big up everyone tuned in, by the way. So we're not paying any attention to the chat. I feel bad. It's just too interesting. Daze 24, big up the Washington crew. Big up Substance. Quebecois crew. Big up Bitch Craft.
We making them hungry, it looks like.
Mob Dubstep saying always add a bit of Greek olive oil, mate. If I didn't have Greek olive oil, mate, you don't understand. That's like my thing. All right, Banana Cam's in the house. Big up Banana Cam. Feel free to fire through any questions, guys. Anything you want to know about this mystery man Finnoh, or if you've got any topics you want us to discuss. I am enjoying the food conversation. I could talk about food all day. It's terrible.
Me too, man. Me too.
I could I feel like, honestly, man, I wake up in the morning and all day I'm kind of just my highlight is just dinner, looking forward to food, eh? It's what's for dinner tonight? Oh.
Yeah, no. You should try the menu, man. It'll change your life.
I like that.
Putting a little menu together.
Sick.
I've been doing some soups and stuff too. We've been making pho at the house.
Yeah.
You can do the bone broth, like the day bone broth or whatever, but I'm not patient enough for that. So I just do an onion broth, and then I use beef base, and then I use a little almost packet of seasoning that I put in there for 30 minutes, like star anise, cloves, and cinnamon.
Is that
stick.
For the pho?
Yeah,
for the pho broth.
But you only put it in there for 30 minutes at the end, right before you eat it, because if you put it in for too long, it'll get too anisey, which I don't like star anise. I hate black licorice candy. No,
I'm not a big fan. That's the one thing I kind of get a bit funny about that.
Yeah, no, me too. But if you put it in there, it adds aromatics to it. It's pretty good.
A little bit's nice. Yeah,
exactly. So
that's funny you say that, because we made a homemade ramen last night. Well, we attempted to. I got this. I bought the already the bone broth and all that. It's some 24-hour bone broth, and but it's just not the same, man. I miss LA, where I lived in LA. We went to this joint, Silver Lake Ramen. Man,
Silver Lake had the
Silver Lake Ramen has that's the best ramen of any other ramen spot I go to. I'm always disappointed, because they got it so tight. and it's like a 24-hour process and all this, and like you try to make it at home, and you know we did all the, like we put some corn on top, and like you know we had nice ramen noodles, but it's like it's not the same, man. I put the little, we did the egg, and the egg was fucking like soft boiled, you know, not fully hard, so the like yolk still comes out and all that. So it looked good, but it's just not the same. Like hasn't got that fatty kind of, I don't know what it is that they do. I think it's like the bone broth. There's something in the broth,
the fattiness, and probably MSG.
Probably.
Man, I used to go you know, because you lived out in the Bay too. Like when I left LA, I moved to the Bay. And
they got great food up there.
Oh man, the ramen in San Francisco, man. There was this one spot that I used to go to. I don't remember the name of it, but oh man, like there would be lines to get in there, and so I would try to time going there like in the middle of the day so I could like catch it like right when it opened. Like I would build my errands around going to this place for ramen. Oh man. Yeah. But it's just different. I don't know what it is. They let that broth. I mean, I think they probably cook those broths for days, and then I'm sure that they refrigerate and recycle broth as well, because I notice when I eat ramen, or if I ever like didn't finish some ramen and bring it home, then the next day like the broth is even better.
Nah, it's too gelatinous at the next day. It gets all
the noodles are, but that's why you put fresh noodles with the broth.
Okay, yeah, because
you gotta refresh the noodles. The noodles are done, but the broth is like fire.
The broth is good. Yeah.
So
the broth is just like,
it's the key element.
Yeah, that's the key
element. So,
you know, I think there's a few things you can nail at home if you got to, with a lot of those kind of ethnic cuisines, you know, the Asian cuisines that you go to, these people, they've been making these things, you know, half the time. Like it's like, you know, you go to a like Vietnamese restaurant or something, they've been doing it in the family for generations.
Oh,
you can't just come in and just like, you know, it's like, oh, we're going to replicate that perfectly. It's like, no, that's got Nana's like sweat in it. You know what I mean? It's got family like flavors, and like.
You also got to go to the right grocery stores. Like, you go to just a regular, like, I don't know, like a Ralph's or a Cub Foods or whatever, like, you know, just a USA grocery chain, and you're not going to get the same quality ingredients. Like there's this place I go to right outside the Twin Cities called, I think it's called Dragon Star Supermarket. And it's like,
I love the names.
Yeah. It's specifically like mostly Asian cuisine and a Middle Eastern and African cuisine, and just like, when you get the fresh produce from there, and you get the, you know, the seasonings and stuff from there, it changes the game.
So it's so much better going to the proper import supermarkets with all the authentic ethnic foods and spices, and you know,
because that's where the restaurants are getting. That's where they're getting their you know, bulk stuff. They're getting it from those things. They're not going to Kohl's or whatever. I don't know what the supermarkets are. We have one out here, man. I'm telling you, I live in a small town now, so it's just like, if I said the name of it, you wouldn't know what it is. But it's a
what would you say
vibe, man? Different vibe in the small town Minnesota.
So you live in a small population in Minnesota right now, and it's is it white outside, like covered in snow?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the people, but it's
well, it's probably there's probably not too many black dudes over there too, right?
It's definitely white outside. No, it's covered in snow right now. The snow won't melt probably until April. So
Jesus. Ugh.
Yeah.
Hey, so tell me, what's your signature dish though? Like if you had to pick, like say if you're like on one of those like TV shows where they're like, all right, it's a cooking show, what's your signature dish? Like what would you like present?
Dude, my go-to is spaghetti and meatballs. Like,
nice.
I like a nice red sauce and spaghetti. Like I could eat that every day. Like I
Do you
don't.
make your own sauce and shit, or?
Yeah, I make it from scratch now. So I use well, I use like I don't do fresh tomatoes. Like I'll do canned tomatoes puree, but I don't buy like the canned sauce anymore. I'll just do like fresh garlic, onion, oregano, parsley. I'm taking that salt a little bit out of my diet. So now instead of putting salt in, I put cheese into the sauce. I just put fresh mozzarella into the sauce.
What?
Oh, dude. Yeah. You put fresh mozz into the sauce instead of salt. And then, that's probably it. Some pepper. And then I'll do like a spicier sauce. So sometimes I'll throw like a jalapeno or two or some, Serranos.
Add a bit of kick.
One Serrano is good though, because if you get the right Serranos, those things are kind of spicy.
Hot.
Like they'll sneak up on you, like they look like they shouldn't be hot.
Yeah.
But if you put 3 Serranos in something, that's gonna be spicy.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, spaghetti and meatballs, and like I've been making bread too. So like I can do the no knead bread. So what you've been
baking your own bread?
Yeah, not often. Like I'll probably just cop a baguette from the store and throw that in the oven. But if you make the dough early in the morning and then you let it sit like over the day, and then you put it in a you just turn it inside out, and then you put it in a what are those called? A Dutch oven.
Yeah.
Boom, fresh bread.
Sick.
Like, and it's like, I mean, it's just so easy. It's just flour, water, and yeast. Who knew? Like I had no idea before the pandemic, bro. I was not making my own bread. So
there you go, man. Self-sufficient, bro.
Hey, that's what it is, man. That's the whole green life.
Honestly, good bread
bro.
is my weakness. Like if you put like a nice like fresh loaf of like artisanal like bread, like like good shit, not like that white Wonder loaf shit, like some nice ciabatta or some like focaccia, I'll destroy that whole loaf. And like I'm like, that's my weak bread, and like nice potatoes, man. Like the simple things, like for me is just like like any kind of potato, like whether it's like French fries and like in Amsterdam, how they nail the like chips out there, or like like in New Zealand we've got like fish and chip shops that do like the perfect chips. You guys have got good fries out here too, but like I like the thick ones, the like not the skinny French fries.
Yeah, you showed me this place out in the UK actually that had really fire fish and chips. It was the spot over by Rents.
Poppies, was it? Poppies fish and chips.
Poppies.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Poppies fish and chips in London.
Those are my first London fish and chips. That was fire, man. Man, I'm hoping I'll be able to get out to London like again.
Bro, tell me about it.
It's like it's not looking good out there, bro. Like I just talked to my homie out there, and they're like, they're not letting anyone in or out.
I know. Look, man, I've been since 2008 until 2020. I went to London every year for shows, every single year. Like it was just a yearly thing. Like some years we'd go twice or 3 times, and like it just became like a thing that like London became just this place that I stay at for almost 6 weeks at a time, in between shows and everything. So for me, missing out last year and probably this year, I don't even know if we'll make it this year. Like, it's just like, it's a weird thing, man. After like more than 10 years straight. And then it's just like, oh, and now you can't go visit that place. It's like,
what's going to be kind of weird is like after, like, I don't actually know what the end point is going to be, because I feel like with this whole pandemic, it's like, this is eventually, I mean, COVID's not going to go away. It's not going away. Like, it won't be eradicated. It's not like that.
Well,
That ship has
it's going to
sailed.
become like a common cold. They're saying like it's just going to kind of like the herd immunity is going to get to a point where like, you know, like all the like vulnerable and sick will die, and then there's going to be like this like balance, and it will become like a cold that will just exist, right?
Well, I think it's going to be more like a bad flu, because the flu kills people every year, like still, you know, like at a high level, then people don't really pay attention to the flu. And so we just kind of like normalized it. And I just think eventually that's going to happen with COVID. But I feel like people aren't thinking about, okay, like we need to figure out how to just exist as if this is going to be around forever, because it is. And I feel like if we can think about ways to just, I mean, I feel like masks aren't going anywhere, and that's not a bad thing. Like I think some people have bad breath, like they really should be wearing a mask. Like
I mean, look, I was wearing the masks. Yeah, I've been wearing the masks for years, man. I wore them on long haul flights. I wear masks at festivals when it's dusty and shit. Like, I've been wearing. For me, it's not a problem. You know, I see people complaining, "Oh, the mask, it's like a muzzle." It's like, for me, I'm just like, I wore masks before the friggin' pandemic. I remember like wearing the mask right when the kind of pandemic started, before like it was kind of like officially like a big thing in the States. And I remember like I was sitting in, I think I was in, oh man, it was like somewhere in the Midwest, some airport, and these two old people just sitting there just staring at me like I was some freak because I was wearing a mask, man. They just like kind of kept looking at each other and whispering like, they're like, look at this guy wearing his mask, you know, like thinking I'm some like idiot because I'm wearing a mask. And now it's just like, oh my God, you have to wear masks on the plane, you know? So
I just think, it's just, we got to adapt to it and figure out a way just to make it enjoyable, you know? I mean, just like anything that people don't want to do, just have to figure out a way to make it enjoyable and cool. Like
we'll adapt, and we are adapting, and things are going to come back, not to like maybe how they were, but they're going to, you know, people are going to be able to go out and
if Elon Musk makes a mask, people going to wear that shit. They gonna be signing up to buy one of those joints. So like, that's how people move around here. Like,
people will be paying for the masks with cryptocurrency.
Oh, bro, they'll be throwing out the Bitcoin for the mask, man.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, cryptocurrency, bro. Are you on the?
I may or may not be. Neither confirm nor deny.
I can neither confirm.
Let's just put it this way: like, we're accepting Bitcoin for bookings now, so.
Right. Yeah. Of course. I mean, at the end of the day, that like money is an idea, right? You know, it's like what you're willing to accept for whatever else what your goods and services or your time or whatever. Like, money is just an idea, so. I mean, that's all that Bitcoin is. It's just an idea. And if
enough people get behind that idea, though, it becomes of value. You know, it becomes something that's very real. You know. Exactly.
I just wonder what's going to happen, like with all the power that it takes to actually use. Like, if all of a sudden we actually wanted to use Bitcoin as a currency, like in a real way. The amount of power that we would need to do that, like electrical power,
the blockchains and all that.
Yeah, it's kind of immense, and you know,
I was reading.
I feel like that's gonna run very counter to climate change and energy. Like, it's just gonna, because we're trying to change all these other sectors to green energy, alternative energies, and so then all of a sudden, if banking has to be done with electricity, that's just it's way more electricity than we can produce with alternative energy, like in the short term at least. So I think I've
been reading a few of those articles too, and I'm just wondering how many of them are funded by like banking cartels and people that are against like because how many trees are they chopping down to like print dollar bills? You know what I mean? Like there's definitely a cost of like producing, minting the coins and the notes and I understand, like, they're saying,
not. See that there's a difference with that though, because like I agree, there's probably some of that, and I mean, look, I've been reading about Bitcoin since 2011, so like I think the idea is great. My thing is though that where it's gone now is like the initial idea of Bitcoin was a decentralized like currency that was supposed to be a currency for the people, so that people could exchange goods and services free of the banking system, et cetera, et cetera. But now what you see is all these huge banks starting to get into it, which is raising the price for early investors, sure. But that just means when Bitcoin is like run out, it's just going to be all the same rich people holding the Bitcoin.
So well, it's definitely there's gonna be a lot of rich people who do there are already big rich people that are seeing the light in it, and guys like Elon Musk, he just put $1.5 billion down.
He put 1.5 billion. It's like, oh, I just invested, and then his 1.5 billion like doubled.
And he's saying things like, you might be able to do like, Ubers and shit. They're saying, Ubers are gonna be charging like you pay with crypto now and things like that. So like, people, these huge corporations, I don't think they're really into the whole idea, because they're doing very well the way things are structured, and the system that's in place now, this traditional system, has been working very well for them. But they're being forced to adapt, and people are like you're seeing companies like PayPal, for example, and MasterCard and Visa, they're all talking about adopting it. And it's just it's the way I see it, it's just an undeniable force. It's like, like how many sci-fi movies have you seen where they they do a job and then they get charged up with it. There's 100 points. You just like
it's
top
just
up
credits.
your fucking thing. It's credit. Everything's going to be credits. Everything's going to be centralized. There's going to be one government. There's going to be one currency. And we can bitch and cry about it all we want. So
$0.
But that's the way it's all headed, because it's just the way things are going to evolve. We manifested it through sci-fi movies.
But the other thing that I think about when I think about like the whole idea of one world government is that the reason that I think a lot of people, especially like people that consider themselves free thinkers, are against the idea of one world government is that it's the idea of one specific like person or group of people having control over everyone. But like on the flip side of that, if you think about one world government as, okay, everybody in the world has a shared stake in what happens like in the world. And so we look at it from a collective point of view, like, oh, like this area is not doing well. Let's use all the resources that these other areas that are doing good to help them in their time of need. And that like in a way of sharing and connectivity where people could actually work together, that could be incredibly powerful. It's just like, because I think people are cynical, and rightfully so, because of how people that have had power over time have used it and manipulated it to take control of people. Like we think of that idea as like, oh, that's horrible, like one government. But if it was actually a government that had service and the world in its best interest, that would be super powerful, because it would inspire people, and we'd be able to lean on each other more when things go poorly. Like,
well, there's two ways to look at it. I mean, like the world government thing, like it terrified me for years, the whole like one world government, like as a teenager, conspiracy theorist kid, I was obsessed with the, like the Illuminati and the power structures and who's controlling what and the 1%ers and all that jazz. And the idea of, a new world order, and that was terrifying. But like, it's the way my prediction is that it's not going to be one government that we all trust. It's going to be an AI thing that we all kind of look.
No,
I honestly think like this is what's happening, right? People are trusting their governments less and less. Governments and people, we're as computer power gets, stronger and the singularity comes closer, we're going to realize that AI is like the only thing we can kind of trust, because we can't trust the governments to, do things for us. These AI computers, they're going to be resolving a lot of huge issues that we've been facing for a very long time. And eventually, it sounds crazy now to even think about it, us like worshiping some mega computer, but like I could very realistically, I can see everyone like kind of going, okay, ask this computer for its advice. It's going to fix this, it's going to fix that, and it's going to fix everything. That's going to be the central government, the supercomputer,
Skynet.
Yeah, like Skynet kind of, but that's what I feel like. That's where it's headed. Like I feel like as much as I don't want it to head that, like I'd hate it to be that way, but I feel like as much like the way things go and like the way we're gonna evolve, like just the way humans are, our technologies are gonna just get so much better, and we're gonna realize like that we're chimps and those things are like much smarter than us, and they can fix a lot of things, and they're a lot more trustworthy than the governments. And then eventually we're just gonna go, fuck it, give it to them. And
you gotta be careful with that though, because then you have people like Mark Zuckerberg who are programming the AI. Yes. Like AI doesn't program itself, so human beings are writing the code for this. Human beings are deciding what the AI values, who the AI sees as important to protect, and who the AI sees as expendable. So it's like
exactly that's the problem.
There's always going to be a need for humanity as long as humans exist.
Well, I mean, the robots might disagree with you, mate. They might decide that we're a threat to the planet and that we just need to go. And to save the planet Earth, they need to kill us all. Who knows what they might realize that we're all.
COVID is.
Maybe that is AI. Maybe like AI created that shit.
Who knows, man? I try to be optimistic that that there are just as many positive future outcomes as there are negative future outcomes. And I feel like saying that and putting that into practice, like in your mind and in how you move in the world, creates that reality. Because if people are saying, it's going to be this dystopia, it's going to be this dystopia, and everyone's saying that, well, that's what's going to happen.
Well, that's what everyone's been saying for about 50 years. Like since I was born, every sci-fi like futuristic dystopian movie has like everyone's wearing robes, and they've all like there's been some major event that's forced everyone to like change, and there's this AI overlord. You know what I mean? It's just like,
I think we need revolutionary, like utopian counter programming to fight that urge, because I do think like we do create our own realities, and
we do.
The more that we can see that, and the more we can actually tap into that in a positive way and not be sucked down into that negative space and like let that overtake us, the brighter the future is going to be,
Yes. And I mean, and don't get me wrong, like look, AI is a major part of our lives already. I mean, right now AI is working to make this cool happen. We get on Google every day, we rely on it every day. That's all AI. Typing in a word, a search in a search engine is AI. So it does a lot of positive things for us. I just think I've noticed we're definitely entering more of an automated age. You walk into a McDonald's now, and there are more screens than there are people serving. You order your burger. I don't go to McDonald's, but I'm just saying, like, everything's automated now. You go to the airport, it's the same. It's just machines. There's more touch screens. With this COVID thing, it's been this huge technological shift where like everybody that like I know a lot of people up until the pandemic would never order their groceries or any shit like that online, and they would like hardly ever use Amazon. Now almost everyone uses that shit. They're like forcing us to like adapt. Not they, but like the times.
I think automation is coming. It's coming it's coming faster than anyone wants to accept, and I feel like that's why we have to like revolutionize how we think about society and how we live in it, like what a job is, what it's for, like what people, how, you know, what people define their purpose through. You know, like a lot of people define their purpose through a job or the work that they do. And I feel like, yeah, I think the work that you do in the world is important, but a job isn't necessarily your purpose. So we have to figure out ways to help people define that more, instead of just saying, oh, well, automation's coming, like you probably have to learn some new skills. Well, it's like we have to help people do that. I mean, that's why I think stuff like, I mean, we're seeing it now with like the relief checks and stuff, but I mean, I think universal basic income is coming. Like it has to come if machines and AI are taking jobs away, because people are going to need to survive and they're going to need things to do. And yeah. I mean,
well, they're testing it already in a bunch of different places, and yeah, you know, it seems like such a foreign concept. Like, what, free money, basic income? How does that work? But it's like, it actually, I think it will work. Personally, I'm up for that. But
yeah, I think there also just has to be an education component to go along with it, so that people can tap into their creative abilities. They can learn new things that they want to, that they're actually passionate about, that they can like be motivated about to add to the world around them, and not just go to a job every day just for a paycheck. Because I know for a fact, when I lived and just went to a job for a paycheck every day, like no matter how much I was making, I wasn't happy with the job. So it's like doing something with a purpose is really what it's about. And so trying to find
ways. Which is a struggle these days, to be able to find something that you can, you know, that you know, you love, and that will bring, you know, money to
when you're struggling, right? That's
that.
When you're struggling for survival, you can't think about that. You know, it's just you're in survival mode. So I need to eat, I need a roof over my head. You know, you're not thinking about purpose. You're thinking my purpose is stay alive. Like, that makes sense.
There are going to be a lot of these jobs, these, you know, and we're not just talking about factory jobs, blue collar jobs, you know, people on the processing plants and all that are getting replaced by robots. We're talking like, you know, accountants, all kinds of different professions are just going to get wiped out in the next 10 years, they're saying. So it's going to create this huge kind of void,
but also there's another piece of that too. Like, it is going to create a void, but it also is going to create new jobs too. Like, it will create new sectors and places, like, you know, that people didn't think about as well. So that's something that has to be taken into account, that, you know, it's the ebbs and flows of the universe. I mean,
well, hey, look, maybe one of those
we were
guys,
on horses, like,
exactly. Hey, maybe one of those guys on the production line that's just doing the same repetitive job over and over again could be more, you know, could be more useful doing something else, doing something he loves, you know, offering something that he couldn't do before he had the basic income coming in, you know. So
absolutely,
it'll be interesting to see how it all rolls out. It's definitely going to be I think what we're experiencing right now is that shift. Like, this is all part of it. Like, it's just the next 10 years are just going to be this shift.
Accelerated. It's been accelerated. It's like COVID was like a just throwing lighter fluid on a fire that was already burning.
It was you know, look, the whole thing, you know, with the people not trusting their governments as much, and, you know, the whole what was happening over the election, you know, with the storming of the Congress building and all the conspiracy theory shit, all of that. And, you know, the fact that cryptocurrency's all of a sudden doing so well, it's all tied together, man. You know, it's all part of this like technological shift. It's like the new coming in, the old kind of trying to fight to hold its place. That's the way I see it anyway.
Yeah, no, that's
like shift in age, man. You know how they're saying it's like the age of Aquarius and all that. I don't want to get too deep on astrology and all that, because, you know, I don't want to let anything dictate, you know, my life from up there. But I think like that definitely does affect things, and, you know, we are experiencing this weird kind of shift in the way where everyone views everything, you know, like it's just and that's hard. It's a hard, you know, like they're talking about an unveiling, and like, you know, a lot of truths come out in the past year, and the truth has been hard to swallow for a lot of people. And, you know, excuse the pun, I'm not like referring to that. I'm just saying, like, it's been a tough, you know what I mean? Like, it's been a hard pill to swallow. Like, just all of us kind of like, it's like everyone was forced to go to detention and sit down and reflect on their behavior, reflect on the world and how things are going, how we've been treating each other, you know, who's in charge, whatever. Like, people have, it's been an emotional period of time, the past 12 months. So yeah, I think we're just all going through that. And like you said, I don't think it's going to be stopping anytime soon, but like, as humans, we are very good at adapting and overcoming, and, you know, there's a lot of positive things to look forward to, man. It's not the
we got to be grateful for the positive things and try to embrace those and run with those and build on those, you know, because it's easy to look at it's easy to nitpick at the stuff that's bad, you know. There's always bad stuff. So.
Well, it's easy just to get up, you know, like, it's easy to feel sad and depressed, man. You know, like even like for people, you know, you think, oh, they got the perfect life, they're always happy and all that. Like, some of those people are like the most miserable, you know, and like some of those people, like, there's just a lot of people out there right now that, you know, need to be talking to people more. They're feeling very lonely, or they're feeling, you know, very detached. You know, I know a lot of people in the music scene, and it goes for myself too, you know, going out music and seeing your friends on tour and, you know, doing the shows. Like, for a lot of people, that was the only way they connected. It was through music and through the, you know, going to gigs and socializing. You know, some of these kids, like, they live in small towns like yourself, and they travel far distances to meet up with their friends at concerts and gigs and events, and those were like the excuses that, you know, gave them an excuse to meet up and socialize. Now that's not happening. It's just
man,
it's been a tough time for lots of people. What are you doing? Like if you're waking up in the morning, you're feeling shitty, like, you know, what have you got any tricks up your sleeve that you could recommend to people? Like, how do you help yourself when you're feeling down?
It's been weighing on me too, like, not being able to travel and go see people and stuff. And so what I've been trying to do is really just like, which is really difficult in general, but it's just to kind of have a routine that I do every day. Like, have a few things that I do that are just for me, that are for enjoyment and just like my physical and mental health, that like I do every day. So now when I wake up in the morning, first thing I do is drink water, just drink a glass of water.
Nice.
I do 25 minutes of yoga, like, uninterrupted. I don't look at anything on my phone. I don't respond to anything. I don't listen to anything. I just, I have this yoga app that I do 25 minutes of that in the morning, just kind of like breathe, stretch, kind of clear my mind, and really just try to empty my mind, like, of anything that's in my head and that's going on. And then usually about the end of the yoga, like, I'm starting to think about things that I really want to get done for the day, or really want to engage in for the day. And then I say, okay, like, I got to make time for those things. And that's what's important. And then, you know, anything else, like, is cool, but like, I'm going to try to get those things done, and that will be a successful day. So yeah, I do that. And then I've just been going on walks when I can. I try to go on a walk every day, at least for 45 minutes or so, an hour.
Wow.
You know, depending on how cold it is, will sometimes determine how long I stay out there. But I've gotten so used to the cold now, like, I got my like quadruple layers, and I got my boots and my mask and everything to wear out in the cold. So
nice.
I get out there, try to get some sun, and taking vitamin D supplements, because I need that vitamin D, you know.
Yes, I've been taking vitamin D every day.
Just trying to stay active like that. And then just taking pressure off myself. Like, I feel like, especially as a creative in this time, if there's this thing like, oh, like, you know, we're kind of stuck in one spot, like, I should be like super productive on music, I gotta like make 1,000 songs, like, now that I'm just like stuck inside. But I've been trying to kind of take some of that pressure off and just be like, okay, I'm just gonna like try to create a vibe that is right for creativity. And if something comes, then like it'll come. If it doesn't, then it won't. And I'm not gonna force it. And that's just been like, I don't know, that's been helpful, I think, just for my mind state. And then just like reaching out to people, you know, calling up friends and saying, what's up, how you doing? Like,
yeah,
what have you been up to? You know, when I can. And
that really helps, man. Being, you know, ring people and, you know, having a chat, call an old friend, call your family.
Yeah. I've been talking to my mom every week now. I'm actually doing like an oral history project with my mom, where I'm recording her for about an hour every week, just kind of telling me about her life and some of the stuff from her growing up. And she's kind of had like a pretty interesting, incredible life. So like that's been really grounding too, just like being able to do that, because, you know, that's not something I necessarily would have thought about doing or would have been doing otherwise. So that's been really cool.
Good.
You know, spending that time. And just trying to stay focused on, you know, some of the things that bring me joy, you know, and yeah, I don't know if there's any secret to it. I mean, I have shitty days where I don't feel like doing anything, and I feel like the world has gone to shit, and I don't I don't want to deal with anybody. But you know, I also like accept that that's a, you know, it's a feeling in the moment, and I accept it and I live in it, and I move past it, you know, by like not feeling bad about feeling bad, because that's a spiral.
Hey, you gotta feel the lows to feel the highs, man.
Yeah, you know? So it's like, oh, okay, I feel bad today. Like, let me just, you know, feel bad and put good music on, man. Good music helps. You know?
Yeah, good music helps. You know, self-care. Like I used to hear
edibles
say
help.
like self-care. You know, I was like, self-care, what the fuck does that mean? Like going and getting your nails done or something? Like, but even just like the littlest things, like, you know, treat yourself to a good meal, drink lots of water, go for a walk every day. That's self-care, man. That's what I mean by self-care.
It's giving yourself space to like take care of yourself, I feel like is what it is. And so
exactly, man. And also just accepting that, like you said, accepting that there are going to be shitty days where, like, no matter like what I've really battled with in my head, like when I've felt depressed or anxious, is like I'm always trying to like put the fire out in my head and be like, all right, maybe if I'm thinking like this, I can control it with my thoughts. But like I found like the way to control it is just by like taking positive actions, like rather than like sitting there and just stewing and trying to come up with a solution in your brain. Just do things that make you feel good, and that will like help you feel better, you know, especially with anxiety and stuff. Like I find like when I get anxious, I'll be overthinking something, and I'll be like over and over and over again in my head, and I'm always trying to put out the fire in my head, you know, like I'm like, okay, maybe if I do this, this will fix it. And I'm like, why am I still feeling anxious? I've got something in my head that can resolve this issue, but I'm still feeling anxious about it. It's like nothing in your head's going to fix it.
You got to just,
at least for me, like you just got to go and do positive things that like help you feel better, and that's what's going to like put out the fire, you know, like at least for me anyway. Like, you know, if I've got a big problem or something that I'm worried about, like I'll think, oh man, like, you know, I could sit here all day stewing about it, or I can go for a walk. I can like, you know, do some fucking exercise, or, you know, go make some beats, have a mix, just try to do anything that just gets your mind off focusing on that thing. And I found like, it's kind of like meditation, like, you know how like with meditation, instead of like trying to like, you know, think about lots of things at once, you're kind of just focusing on one thing and kind of trying to focus on the present time. It's almost like that with just in life in general. Like you shouldn't really focus too much on the past, like things that have affected you, like, you know, in a negative way in the past too much. And you also shouldn't worry too much about the future, you know, like, and what might happen. because I don't know about you, but most of the things I've ever worried about in my life that have been like huge things that I've worried for so long haven't even ended up happening. You know what I mean? Like it's like spent all that time like punishing myself, and then that bad thing that I was worrying about never ended up happening anyway. And if it did happen, it wasn't as bad as the pain of the worrying leading up to it. You know what I mean?
No, I absolutely know what you mean. It's like finding that flow state in life, you know, where you know you're engaged in what you're doing in the moment, and you're not like overthinking things. You're not thinking, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. It's like, no, I'm gonna do better on my next step and take that action, like, and that'll put me where I need to be, you know. And I agree with that. I find that it's just like taking action really is helpful. It's like
I just always used to think I could fix it in my head, but like I feel like like I can't. Like there's certain things, you know, like especially if it's anxiety or depression, some things you just can't beat in your head, you know. Like
it's always
doesn't matter how smart you are and how much you feel like you're in control of yourself or your life. It's some things you just can't beat in your head, you know. So you've got to like just.
I think that's part of it too. Is kind of there is a little bit of letting go of control. Like there's only a certain amount of control that you have in life, and like you kind of have to I guess release yourself to the universe in some way, like, and just you know, realize that you don't have control over everything. You have control how you react to certain things, and you have control over some choices, but everything else, you know, is not really in your control. And so acceptance of that can be powerful, you know, you know, not,
and that's hard for a lot of people to accept, man. You know, we all want, like, you know, a lot of people, we want our lives like nice and organized. You want to feel safe and secure. You don't want to be thinking about the fact, like the reality of your situation. Like sometimes, I don't know about you, I'll be lying in bed and I'll kind of like zoom out and I'll like look down on me, and then I'll like zoom out and look down on my house, and then I'll like kind of like look down on my neighborhood. Then like I'll be like, where the fuck am I in this planet? And then I'll like,
how did I get here?
And I'm like thinking about where I am right now and where I'm sleeping on the planet, and then where that is in relation to other planets, and how big the universe is, and how it could all just like blow up, like boom, and then like, or maybe it has blown up already. Maybe we've died. I don't know. Like then you're just lying there in bed going in this spiral, and you're just like, oh my god, like. If you really think about it, we could just be annihilated like that. We just wouldn't know. You know, maybe that's happened in our lifetime. Maybe it happened in 2012 when that Hadron Collider fucking experiment went down. We all got
now we're all just plugged in.
Nah, I think now we could just have been like thrown in this parallel timeline. You know, because you know how like all the Mandela effect. Have you heard about all that conspiracy? How we've got like these
and gematria effect. My brothers, my younger brother's big on that. He's on YouTube heavy, so.
Dude, you could go deep down that rabbit hole all day. But I do find it very interesting how we do have these collective memories of events that didn't happen, and of things that existed that don't actually exist. Like, I swear to God, like I ate Kit Kat, right? Like, my dad like worked for this marketing company in New Zealand, and like they gave us a box of Kit Kats. So I'm very familiar with Kit Kat, right? Like I know what a fucking Kit Kat looks like, and I know it had the little like dash in between the Kit and the cat. Like it always had a little dash, and now they're trying to say it never had the dash. I know that I had the Berenstain Bears books. It was Berenstain Bears, not like they've spelled it differently now. They've changed the E and the I on the spelling and all that, and they're trying to say no, that never existed. Yet there's like millions and millions of people that clearly remember as kids, me being one of them, that fucking is a thing, you know, that existed. And it's the same with
I always thought it was the Berenstain Bears though.
It is the Berenstain Bears. They're saying it's Berenstain now. It was always Berenstain. They're trying to say it's Berenstain. Yeah.
Wait,
and like okay, well, like for example,
Dre,
like
with
your
accent, it's hard to tell which one you're saying. So
I'm just saying, okay, like for example, the whole like snow, like mirror, mirror on the wall, right? That's like the classic line that you always remember. Apparently, she never fucking said mirror, mirror on the wall. It's like some other shit, like. And like you look it up and like online, like she never said mirror, mirror on the wall. We all just imagined it. Millions and millions of people imagine that that in the fucking movie she says mirror, mirror on the wall. She always did, but anyway.
Yeah, well, that's weird because that definitely happened.
Yeah, that happened, but if you look it up, it never happened. They changed it now. It says something else. Same with in Star Wars. Like I swear I watched Star Wars a million times as a kid. There was always that line, "Luke, I am your father." Apparently, he doesn't say that anymore.
So, wait, okay,
like, this is even though like you got James Earl Jones in a '70s interview saying, "Luke, I'm your father" on TV, but apparently that didn't exist.
You're not gonna do that to me, because
I swear to God, shit like that. Like I was like, oh Mandela
effect. Says Luke, I am your father.
Yeah,
that happened, man. Now,
that's what I thought too.
I mean, are you sure they didn't just go back and like edit the movies or whatever? Because they're doing that. Like I heard there was a version of Avatar now, like you can watch Avatar, but it doesn't have like the Avatar like sex scene in it.
Oh, okay.
They went back and just like edited that out.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like edited versions, and there's lots of explanations online for it where people explain why people have this collective memory and that it was always this and that people are just tripping. And look, that it's a really weird thing though. If you really honestly believe in your head that's what they said, you've watched a movie over it, you've read a book over it, and then they say, no, I never had that. Or the Kit Kat thing, like I swear to God, it always had that shit, man. You know what I mean? Always.
Yeah, I kind of remember a dash, but I mean, the other thing about that is I feel like that also comes down to how much attention we actually pay to certain things, and how because I do think that there are things that maybe we don't pay as close attention to, that we're like, oh, okay, it could have been that, or it could have been something different. Like we just weren't, I don't know, we weren't looking as closely, and we're young too, so it's like we're not examining these things and committing them to memory because we're scared that people are gonna tell us it's something different in the future. We're just like, oh, this is just a book we like. So
no, but like how many people like say like mirror, mirror on the wall? Why did we all get that wrong? Like now it's like magic mirror on the wall or some shit. I don't know. Like
I don't know. Yeah. Because I feel like also there's stuff that's from content, right, that we've seen, and then there's like our like how we use it with other people, so somebody that we know might have said it, or it might have been in a book version of something, or et cetera,
and then someone repeated it wrong, and then everyone
it's like a telephone. It's like
Chinese whispers. That's what we used to call it.
It's telephone effect. So it's just like, I feel like that's definitely part of it, and just the internet likes to internet.
I think there's there's probably a lot of bullshit out there, and there's a lot of truth to it too. But the whole, I like seeing all the Simpsons things where they're talking about the the Simpsons having someone in the Simpsons production that's time traveled, us saying they predicted all these things before they happened and shit. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, or they just like paid attention to the news and thought critically about humanity.
Exactly. I mean, there's a good chance Trump could have become president, I guess.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was trying to be president for a long time before he became president. It wasn't like he woke up one day and was like, "Oh, I think I'll just run for president." There was no plan. It's just no one was paying attention. So people trying to survive, man. There's a lot of shit to pay attention to that you don't think is important until it is important, until it affects you. That's life, bro. So it's just for trying to find a balance in all of that.
It's true. And look, some of the strangest things, you know, like the truth is stranger than fiction, man. Like, you know, in a lot of ways, like you don't need to go digging. Like there's just like reality is strange enough, mate, for me. Like, you know, like some of this, some of it, like there's no conspiracy. It's just like, yes, this does exist and it's fucked.
Right. Yeah. No, I think there's so many things that just happen out in the open that, that you don't, that people aren't trying to hide any. I mean, generally people are trying to hide things. You can't really hide much. Like privacy doesn't really exist these days. People are committing felonies and posting it to Instagram. So I mean,
it's crazy.
That's the world we live in.
Well, even worse is the fucking, like, you know, what happened in my hometown. That Australian dude flew over, just decided to choose Christchurch as a place, and he fucking did the whole live stream. The camera went around that mosque and shot all those innocent people. That was like before they took it down. It was fucked up to watch, man. It was like like one of those shooter video games, like Call of Duty or some shit. He was like running around live shooting people.
Yeah,
fucked up shit.
I avoid that stuff on the internet, man, because that stuff stays with you. It stays with, like, I mean, I don't like ignore that it happens, but I don't need to watch video of that. Like, it's weird too. Like, as I've gotten older too, I don't watch as many like violent movies, like that kind of stuff. You know, just I don't know. It's just.
You're smart. See, I'm obsessed with fucking not violent movies. I'm sick of all the fucking guns and all the, like, every movie's just like. Yeah. I'm not about all that, but I do love like old school horror movies and.
You know what I love though is martial arts movies though.
Yes.
Like kung fu movies.
Yeah.
Give me a good kung fu flick any day.
Small Bruce Lee.
Because it's like that's. You know, that's real, like that's a competition. That's like a battle, like, you know, between two people that are choosing to battle, not like somebody just mowing down innocent people. Like,
it's funny you say it, because I'm so bored, like, watching all these different shows, and I watched the whole Cobra Kai thing. It's like 3 seasons, and I don't know if you watched Cobra Kai.
I've heard about it. I've heard it is going around, but haven't seen it. Is it?
Well, it's like, I don't know if you like watched Karate Kid when you're a kid, you know, the Karate Kid movies, but like.
I was more of like a Three Ninjas guy.
Three Ninjas is way more hardcore than Karate Kids. You know, it's definitely some like watered down kind of family G-rated shit. But you know, Cobra Kai was funny to watch. I liked it. There's some like 80s flashbacks and shit. But that was all about kung fu and fighting. But I was actually watching that thinking, this is cool, because like there's really like not much like guns and shooting and shit. I just feel like everything is fucking like machine guns and guns. Like, we bought this bloody surround sound system on our TV, and like, man, it's just like every movie we watch, it's just like it's just like, man, are the fucking gun companies like funding this movie?
They are. I watched the new Terminator movie recently, like just on a whim, and that movie is so crazy. Like, it's just to just destroy. It's just crazy to think about how much they spend to just blow shit up in movies. Like millions of dollars go to just blowing shit up.
It's lit.
It's so crazy.
It's pushing that whole like military industrial complex, like it's that aggressive way of thinking, you know, the patriotism,
thinking that
they always put the enemies as like, at least all the like if you watch all the like 80s action movies and shit, like the bad guys are always like some like weird foreign dudes, even if like, you know, they're usually like, you know, like Muslim looking or Asian looking, or even just guys with like British accents. They'll make the guy they're like, we couldn't find any brown skinned guys, so we'll just give the guy with the British accent the bad guy role, because he's like un-American. You know what I mean? Like, it was wild, like back in the day, how like everything was so,
like back
these
in the
are the
day,
bad
like
guys,
5
these
years
are the
ago.
good guys. This is what's happening. This is the agenda. This is the narrative. Let's go. And we all, like, growing up in the 80s, and I grew up in the 90s, really. I was born in the 80s, but grew up in the 90s, and like that was definitely like, in New Zealand, we're getting fed so much like American kind of like wartime action movie propaganda shit. Like I was like real into like G.I. Joes and action figures, and like every day after school I'd like come home, put on my camo gear, get my plastic bazooka, and like run around the garden like pretending to be a war guy. I was like, let's play, my favorite game is war. I'd be like, let's play war, pretending to kill each other and all that. Like, you know, all little boys do that. You know, you played cowboys and Indians and shit, but I feel like we were like real, like we were fed a heavy diet of like American action movie. Like every day after school, it was like G.I. Joes, Transformers, Masters of the Universe, like all this shit. And like you're like little like Kiwi kid, like going, oh fuck me, this is fucking deep, you know? And like seeing all the guns and everything. Yeah, I feel like dudes now, like kind of generation is so like war ready. Like we just like fucking like we just grew up like so much. All our entertainment was based on like guns and blowing shit up and like.
Well, just think about Call of Duty, man. I mean that's like a whole generation of people just like on that Call of Duty.
Oh yeah,
modern.
That's warfare. The whole next level. I mean, that's just like, actual like people living another reality.
Yeah, so it gets deep with that, man. But yeah, I try to just limit my exposure to that stuff because it does stay with you when you're like aware of it. And there's enough violence in the day-to-day living. So
there is too much, mate. Too much violence.
Yeah.
But, you know,
you've been watching anything else that's good, man? Anything you want to recommend?
You know, I've been watching. Right now, I'm watching Man in the High Castle, which is. Have you seen that at all? It's a Philip K. Dick. You know Philip K. Dick, right? The writer.
Yeah, I just read a really weird short story from Philip K. Dick. Actually, that is really? Like it's not sci-fi. It's just like really strange. It's called Voices from the Street. It's like it's a super strange story. But anyway, it's just about.
He's an interesting guy. Like if you look into his like what he has to say, you know, he had this dream where he like saw this kind of future, and that's what a lot of his like movies and stuff are based on. But
like Minority Report is based on.
Minority Report's a great example of his work. You know, I think it was a book that he wrote originally. But that's one of my favorite movies. I mean, I love any kind of movie like Minority Report styles where it's set in like the near future and everything's just slightly like advanced. I love seeing all that shit, man. Like that's my favorite kind of movie. But this one, Man in the High Castle, it's about it's like an alternate reality where like the Nazis and the Japanese won World War II, and the West Coast is run by the Japanese imperial government, and the East Coast, like New York and shit, is all like Nazi run. So it's just basically this like it's about that. But I've only watched it. I've just finished the first season, and it's just kind of warming up. So
that's interesting.
I don't know too much. Yeah. Philip K. Dick though, man, he wrote some really weird shit.
Was I, Robot also based off of Philip K. Dick, or was that?
I'm not sure. It could well
maybe
be.
That was no, that was the other guy. The other big sci-fi guy that like Asimov.
Oh yeah.
I think that was Asimov. Who knows? Oh.
All right, big up everyone tuned in. We've been getting deep in the discussions. Let us know if you've got any questions for Finnoh. There's a lot of people talking about all kinds of people are talking about Black Mirror in the chat. What did you ever get a chance to check out any of those Black Mirror shows?
Yeah, the first two seasons were really great. Kind of went off the rails, but some good stuff in there. Yeah, maybe the third season was all right too.
It was when they made it like all interactive that I kind of stopped watching it. I was just like, oh, it's too much.
Oh, so I went through. I did the interactive thing, but it was like, it just wasn't a good story. I just felt like it wasn't a great story, even with the choices and stuff.
Yeah,
just like
it was a cool attempt to do something new and different, but yeah,
they didn't execute it well. They could have done so much more with it, I think, but
Yeah.
It's just funny. Like you think about that it just shows you like money doesn't mean that you're gonna get a good product, because they have plenty of money over there. And
I like the one about the robot dog and shit. That was pretty fucking scary, because it's just like the Boston the Boston robotics or whatever.
Yeah, I thought the one where people like upload their consciousness one was pretty interesting too, like that idea. Mm-hmm. There's a show on Amazon Prime Video that I watched recently called Upload.
Okay, yeah.
It's kind of about it's kind of like
is that the one where the comedy guy dies and he has to be like and his wife visits him in that other reality or whatever? It's his girlfriend, and it's it's interesting. I think there's another season coming soon, it's kind of funny. It was just like, it's definitely like a fun show, real light real light stuff, man. I've been on the light, like not heavy content these days, as a balance for everything that's going on. Like I've been watching a lot of The Amazing Race. Oh wow, that was actually back when I lived in New Zealand back in the day. I love that show, dude. The Amazing Race. I was telling Patty about that. The Amazing Race, how good it is with the couples and the dad and son, or like partner, husband and wife, or like brother and sister. Yeah. So I've been watching that. I love that show. That's a good show.
Back seasons of that, and that's been good. And then I watched this other thing on Amazon Prime Video, Bosch. He's like a detective.
Oh, yeah, cool. A few people have said they like that one.
Yeah, that was pretty good. And then Tenet's on there too. That movie.
Yeah, I just watched Tenet. That's a sick movie, man.
I've started rewatching it again just to.
You gotta watch it
a couple times to get get all the.
I feel like there's a lot of movies right now touching on that subject of like kind of like time travel and shifting different.
The soundtrack from that is sick too. The Tenet soundtrack, I love that.
Yeah. I gotta watch that again, dude. That was a good movie.
Yeah. And I
think
Commander
was saying Demolition Man. Did you ever? What about Demolition? That was one of my favorite movies, bro. With Wesley Snipes, man. He's a badass. I love Wesley Snipes.
Is that Wesley Snipes and Jean-Claude Van Damme? Or
was it Jean-Claude Van Damme, or was it no, it was Sylvester Stallone.
Sylvester Stallone, okay, yeah.
Demolition Man was sick. That was like that dystopian future. Like if you swear, like a little thing comes out, you get a fine for swearing, and like
that was I never actually saw that movie like around that time that it came out, but I remember that was one of the first movies that had a really like crazy promo campaign. I remember all the posters. I remember all the like trailers and stuff for it. Being, like, I don't know, it seemed like it was trying to market it to kids.
That's so violent. It's a crazy. Nah, it's not kids movie at all. You should watch Demolition Man. It is fucking good, bro. Like I'd rate that in my top 10 movie list of all time.
Yeah,
okay. Seriously, like I really like that movie.
I'll put that on the list.
I'm glad Catnip Commander mentioned that. Yeah. Snipes though, Wesley Snipes, man. He spent a bit of time in jail, I think, for fucking tax evasion or some shit. Wesley Snipes. Man. Yeah. Someone was asking a question. Someone had a question for you. Hang on. What was it? Oh, someone was asking who have you been feeling music-wise lately, Finnoh?
Who have I been feeling music-wise lately? Shit, man. That's so difficult to answer. I've been listening to a lot of Flying Lotus lately.
Nice.
And like, as in like today, like that.
Yeah. Like, what would you say, like your most common, like if you just like need to throw on some music, you don't want to think about it too much, you just want it on in the background, what's your like go-to kind of shit?
I've been listening a lot to this artist Laraji, who does like he does kind of like ambient music. I kind of been on the ambient music thing
nice
recently. So I've been listening to Laraji, and then I've been getting into this guy. I want to make sure that I get his name right. It's Hiroshi. Hold on, I want to look this up because it's Hiroshi something. Because there's a few Hiroshis that I've been listening to, so I want to make sure that I want to say it's like, yeah, Hiroshi Yoshimura, who also has like a very ambient sound to his music. So I've been listening to that lately. And then I don't know, as far as like I'll put on like jazz in the background.
What kind of music does that artist make that you're talking about, Hiroshi
Yoshimura? He does really he does ambient music that's kind of mixed with like natural sounding Foley, so like water and
that sounds amazing,
and bird song. Yeah, check out he's got a project called Wetland and a project called Green. I think Green is the only one that released in the US, and the rest of his projects are like only available in Japan, and or on YouTube.
Cool.
Only in Japan or on YouTube.
I'm guessing you go to YouTube.
So but yeah, a lot of jazz stuff I'll throw on when I'm just like I go to Robert Glasper a lot. I listen to a lot of Robert Glasper, and yeah, man, it just depends on it really just depends on the day, what kind of mood I'm in. Like because like some days I'm like I get into a drum and bass mood, but like I like chill drum and bass, so I listen to a lot like Caliber.
Caliber's probably one of my all-time favorite artists, man. I could listen to Caliber all day.
I listen to a lot of Caliber, and been listening to a lot of like podcasts and stuff lately too, just like
nice
and audiobooks. So that can be nice to have on in the background too sometimes. But sometimes I started this audiobook called Ministry for the Future, and it's about this ministry that's supposed to save us from climate change, basically, and just all the like how difficult that's going to be. And so that it's interesting, depressing at times, but also kind of like motivational too as well. So so
like speaking of like climate change, have you like heard about like you know how they've been talking about the planet is heating up.
Yeah.
Now like there's all this talk about like we're like heading towards this like where the planet's cooling down. It's like a grand solar minimum. Have you heard of the grand solar minimum?
I haven't heard about that. But my understanding of climate change in general is not, I mean, yes, the planet is heating, as is one effect, but really what it is that the climate is changing so rapidly, like whether it goes from cold to hot or whatever, is that there are places that people have decided that they want to live and settle, and so they built these like cities and towns and communities, and over time, like the weather is changing so quickly that they're not going to have time to adapt and move out of those places before they just become destroyed by different weather or the level of the sea rising, or just like weather patterns changing extremely quickly. And so that's really like one of the biggest issues with climate change, is just like how fast things are changing.
Yeah. I see it as like, extreme on all fronts, like extremely cold winters, extremely hot summers.
Right.
Everything's just turned up a notch, and
but what is the solar minimum thing that you're talking about?
Well, I mean, look, I'm no scientist, so I don't know much about it. But basically,
you are a scientist.
No,
Don't lie.
Basically, they were talking about how that massive Arctic blast just kind of like came down from the Arctic, and it was like, as the coldest the Midwest has been in ages and all this shit. But they're saying like it's something to do with the distance of the sun, how far away it is from the Earth, and that there's a NASA like solar cycle kind of thing that they've been like tracking, for a few hundred years, and they basically like it's like a curve, and basically it's about to go like down into this like dip where it's like a mini, not like an ice age, but like they're saying like it's called the grand solar minimum. That's what NASA is saying it is. So
Interesting.
I don't know like if that's got anything to do with climate change, or if it's way like not even connected, or I don't know, but they've been like mapping these waves, and they're saying we're about to go to this point where because like even like summer temperatures like in the southern hemisphere have been really shit this year, like in New Zealand and Australia they've been getting a lot of rain and shit. And
is New Zealand gonna ever let people not from New Zealand come there anymore? Because I've been wanting to go to New Zealand forever, but
you can go. You just have to
be locked down for life now.
Yeah, well, you have to if you want to go, you can go right now. You get on a plane right now, go visit New Zealand. You just got to spend. They charge you like 2 or 3.
You have to spend like a month there, basically.
You got to spend 2 weeks in a hotel that they choose. You've got to spend like 2 or 3 grand and then they put you in this hotel and they feed you and all this shit, and it's like isolation. And it's real strict. Like one guy got arrested because he tried to like sneak out to get some beers and shit. So like it's real. Like
they won't bring you beer.
No, you can't. Like my friend, I've had a lot of friends, and I know DJs. Like I got friends from the UK that actually like my friend Alex Perez. He moved to New Zealand from London. He spent 2 weeks in quarantine. There's a bunch of artists that went there and played New Year's shows, and they waited for 2 weeks in quarantine as well. While they basically they have to get a test when they land, and then they have to get a test, and then they let them out. So you'd have to spend 2 weeks in a hotel in isolation, and then you're free and you can go and explore New Zealand. But I just can't I couldn't personally. I could, but I'd hate it if I had to go sit in a hotel for 2 weeks. If I like flew all the way from America,
right?
I was supposed to go to New Zealand for bloody for Christmas to see my family, and I just couldn't because like I would have been able to go for 3 weeks, and I would have spent 2 out of the 3 weeks in a hotel isolating. So it's just like it's a nightmare, and it's like an extra few $1,000s on top of the flight. So.
Yeah, I mean, it seems kind of strange that they wouldn't just test you when you get there.
Yeah.
Like, and then, I mean, 2-week quarantine.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know about what is it?
It can not, the first test, people might land, get tested, doesn't show it's positive, and then like a week later they get the symptoms, like it can take like 2
Right,
weeks.
but then that's what I'm saying, like, so you get a test, like, right when you get there, and then you get a test maybe like 5 days after you get there.
Yeah.
Seems like 2 weeks is excessive.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, look, they just shut down the main, like Auckland's the main city. It's got like 1.5 million people, and they just shut down the whole city on 3-day lockdown because they found a couple of cases in the community of COVID, and they just shut it all down, just like boom. Yeah, so they're taking it pretty seriously. Like out here, everyone's got it, and we're just mingling around like, yay, like I went to Costco the other day and it's fucking like a party in there, bro. Like, there's like 1,000 people all like chatting and rubbing shoulders, and people were testing the massage chairs, and they were doing the food samples. Like, have your free salami and cheese cracker.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a pandemic anymore. I'll just pull down my mask and eat my cheese cracker. Like people were just in the fucking twilight zone. Like I don't know if like people are in denial or if everyone's just had enough, and there's just like we've had.
I think it's just mental fatigue, man. I just think that it's like we just fumbled the ball at the outset, and just because of that, everything has just spiraled to a place where it's just like people are trying their best, but it's just people are stretched to their limits, like mentally. It's not something that it's not something that most people can deal with just for so long. So
I feel it, man.
I think it's going to start gradually getting better though over this year. I mean, I do think this year is not going to be that much different than last year, except for that we just know it's going to be kind of shitty versus like being like, is this year going to be shitty? Oh, it is going to be shitty. It's like, it's that acceptance part, you know, once you accept, okay, this is what it's going to be, and like, let's just try to make the best of it kind of thing, versus thinking that, I mean, I feel sad for the people that actually thought that it was only going to last for a few weeks, because I never thought that.
I thought it was going to last like a couple of months. You know, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be tough. We're going to have a couple of months, no shows. Going to have to write a whole album, but we'll get through this. And then it's like a year later, and it's like, what the fuck? This is still happening. But
just the escalate, like the way that it escalated in that first month, like I just knew it was going to be something different. Like, when the NBA shut down.
Oh, when the NBA shut down.
When the NBA shut down, I was like, this is different. Like,
that's an American pastime, man. I mean, like when they started to, like canceling sports, then that's when I was like, fuck, this is serious.
Yeah, so that's when I knew it was just all bets were off, and it's just like one day at a time, because any kind of like predictions that try to make are only going to be wrong. Like at this point. So
it's crazy times, man. It's crazy. It's like being in one of those sci-fi movies sometimes. You're like, oh, what's going on?
You gotta keep a record of everything that's going on, man. That's what we're doing right now. We're chronicling these times.
That's right. And you can chronicle them in different ways. You know, you can make art from your experience, or you can it's pretty amazing what you're doing with your mum, recording the phone calls and all that. That's awesome, dude. Like learning about the history and all that. I've got
crazy,
a nana,
like how much like you don't know about your family until you sit down with them and ask them about their life. I mean, you grow up and you take so much for granted about like your parents and just the people around you, you know, that are older than you, and they just have you know, so many stories, and that are just, they're humans just like you are, you know. You put them in a different category, but they've had their own, you know, journey and struggles and triumphs and all that stuff that really just kind of it opens your eyes to like that your journey, you know, has been longer than just, you know, your life. You know, you're only here because of the people that came before you.
Totally. And well, I've got a nana that's 102 years old. She just turned 102, and like the things she's seen in a century must just be incredible. Right. Think about like how many different stages of you know, history she's experienced in the different times. And
it's crazy. My grandfather just turned 94, and
that's old.
He's still like, he's still so like energetic and stuff. I'm hoping actually to start doing some stuff with him on the phone as well, like as soon as I can. So
I remember being at school, man, when I was a little kid, and we, like, our social studies teacher was like, he's like telling us, he's like, oh, you know what, you're still the same, like you still got the same mind as when you're little. When you're old, you're still the same person inside. And I remember like people were asking him like, what's it like to be old? And he's like, you're just the same person, but you're in this fucking you're trapped in this older body kind of thing, man. And I was like, what the fuck? That sounds crazy. Now I'm like, I'm starting to get that. I'm getting out, because I feel like I'm still a kid inside. I'm like, I struggle to believe. I'm just like, fuck, I'm getting old. Like, how like this? I just feel like I'm still like a kid inside, you know? So it's real. It's a hard thing to grasp. So when you talk to these like really like older people, like our grandparents and stuff, it's just an amazing thing to think of. Like, you know, one day it's going to be us going,
Right.
You know, like, yeah, we'll be the grandpa and the little kid's going to be like, Grandpa, tell me about dubstep. I'll be like, sit down, you little shit. Let me tell you a story. You know, like, and like, they're just like, you know, you're telling them about the pandemic and shit. They're like, whatever, that didn't happen, Grandpa. You're crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, we used to tour and play these parties and these sound systems and whatever, Grandpa.
Yeah, yo, that's so true though. It's gonna go like that. Oh man.
Anyway, hey, on that note, man, we've been chatting for like 2 hours now. Time always.
Got any more questions or?
Yeah, if anyone's got any more questions, fire them through to Finnoh. While we're doing that, have you got any anyone you want to shout out or any kind of final words you want to put out to the universe, to everyone listening?
Yeah, just big love to everyone out there. You know, keep your head up, keep your spirits positive through these days, these trying times, and yeah, we'll get through it together. You know, just keep keep connecting with the communities out here. You know, Deep Dark Dangerous family is such a good community of people like that come together around music, and yeah, man, just grateful to be part of so many great music communities and just with so many good people. So really just appreciating that in these moments. And yeah, check me out, Finnoh's World, on every social media. I'll be off Facebook pretty soon, but I'm on Instagram and on Twitch every Sunday.
So Finnoh's World, that's your new you know, you formerly went by Ill Chill for people that are, you know, like listening to your past releases, you know, putting a voice to the name. Your new alias is Finnoh. Yeah. Finnoh's World is the tag on Instagram, is it?
Yeah. FINNOHS World. And yeah, got a lot of new music coming soon. Got some special projects coming. Got a few vinyls left from some Ill Chill stuff that I'm getting off, and
nice.
Like from this project I did with Subtle Mind called Sun and Stars, we got a few of those left, and then
I love the artwork, man.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah. When those are gone, I'm launching a new website, finnohsworld.com, with a whole lot of new interesting stuff. So just awesome. Working on that, building that up, and doing a lot of collaboration and just a lot of creating and just trying to, you know, take everything a day at a time and try to be in that present moment. And yeah, just grateful for everything that's positive in my life right now. And yeah, just want to spread that positivity and love and see where we can be 10 years from now, hopefully in a better place than we are today. So
couldn't have said it better myself, mate. Couldn't agree more. It's that's the most important thing right now, being positive and you know, keeping busy, keeping creative, doing the things you love, being easy on yourself. And yeah, we're gonna get through everything. And look, man, I love your work, dude. I've always been a fan.
Hey, bro, we gotta get some new music going.
We gotta get some beats going, dog.
Bro, like, for real. I've been. Yeah. That's the other thing I was gonna say is we gotta get on some fresh stuff. So.
Yes. Yeah, and we're thinking of like, I want to re-release the whole Undeniable thing again. Like that was one of our first release. That was the first release on DDD, Undeniable. So I think
go back through some of those remixes. Oh, and there was, you remember that track Take Flight?
Yes. Yeah, I've got that on my computer still.
Yeah, we should do something with that.
Definitely. That was like 160 BPM or something.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's a couple, man. There's a couple. We need to talk anyway, not online in front of you. We're just like having a conversation now. It's like, but anyway, look, we got to definitely reconnect, man, on the music front and get some work together. And hopefully we'll see you next month anyway.
Yeah. Let's make that happen, bro. Let's do that.
Sick. All right, everyone. Hey, thanks for tuning in to all the people out there, and stay safe, stay warm if you're in a cold affected place,
which is like everywhere right now.
Yeah, pretty much the whole northern hemisphere. But yeah, until next time.
Hey, big love. Peace.
Yeah, big love. Cheers, Finnoh. It's great having you on. Great to chat. We'll definitely be getting you back on, bro. Like I love hearing your insight and you know your view on things and what's going on right now. So
yeah,
great to have you, brother. Yeah. All right, everyone. Peace out. Till next time. Love.